All right, so I finally got this in the mail. This is December 2003's issue of Interview Magazine, where it's actors or artists interviewing other actors or artists. And I've been trying to get a hold of this magazine for years because, for two reasons particularly. James Franco's on the cover, and it has him interviewed by Nicolas Cage, and Nicolas Cage directed him. The only movie Nicolas Cage ever directed was a movie called Sunny, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I've known about it I saw it when I was like maybe middle school, and it's just such an amazing movie. But also, but the biggest reason why is it has a interview with Brad Renfro done by Johnny Knoxville, and May 2002 is when Deuces Wild came out in theaters, and I just reviewed that movie. And Johnny Knoxville has a very small part in that, but it has James Franco, also a small part, and stars Brad Renfro. So it has three people from Deuces Wild, which is a movie I love so much. And I had read the Brad Renfro interview online years ago, but I still wanted a physical copy, and I finally found it on eBay for about $15. But now that I just got this magazine, I see even more. It has Tiffany Lemos from JT Leroy. And I saw Tiffany Lemos is Peaches from Ken Park, which is also directed by Larry Clark, and who directed Brad Renfro and Bully. Larry Clark is probably one of my favorite directors of all time, and Bully is the reason why Brad Renfro is my favorite actor. Probably the main reason. And I'm absolutely obsessed with Ken Park. That's my most highest viewed review video on my channel. It's almost at 10,000 views right now, so you guys should want to check that out. Dude, I love these pictures of Tiffany. She's so beautiful, and these are great pictures. And I wish she had done more movies. And it's so cool that Brad snuck in and took a picture with her. But it's also got interview with Maggie and Jake Gyllenhaal. This is like right after Donnie Darko, right around there. It's got Jake Gyllenhaal is interviewed by Chelsea Clinton, and Maggie Gyllenhaal is interviewed by Tony Kushner. It's also got Diego Luna, interviewed by Alfonso Cuarón, Alison Lohman by Renee Zellweger. Alison Lohman, she's a chick from Drag Me to Hell, right? Sarah Polley by Mark Ruffalo. Sarah Polley's the girl from Go. And then it's got, Kieran Culkin by Elena Douglas. Kieran Culkin. So it's got even more interviews that are really interesting. And all these pretty much all these interviews are really interesting. But I'm going to read two of them. I'm going to read the James Franco by Nicolas Cage and the Brad Renfro by Johnny Knoxville. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the James Franco interview by Nicolas Cage, and it has a brief opening about it. So if you guys hear a paper crumbling, that's me reading the magazine, and I'm not going to do any voices, so here we go. This is the opening. James Dean left big shoes to fill, but to actually put them on, stomp around, and make them your own is something else indeed. Something that James Franco embraced when he took on that title role in 2001's critically applauded cable TV biopic James Dean. Whether appearing in big-budget blockbusters like Spider-Man or art house labors of love, like the just-released Sunny, in which he plays the title character, a young American gigolo, in Nicolas Cage's directorial debut, either way Franco artfully balances his marquee looks with his heart and depth of a character actor. Radiating a brooding malice, to get into Franco's world, we asked Cage to give him an interrogation that proved at turns intense, literary, and full of laughter. So meet 2003's new style leading man. The world will soon be his. Nicolas Cage. Hello, James. James Franco. Hey. You were just in Australia shooting The Great Raid, a war movie directed by John Dahl. How was that? It was okay. I was there like 4 months. I guess after doing Wind Talkers 2002, you have an idea what a war movie can be like? Yeah, it can be pretty shocking to the nervous system. And now you're in Chicago working on Robert Altman's new film, The Company. Did you ever see the movie Secret Honor? Philip Baker Hall gives one of the greatest performances I've ever seen as Richard Nixon. James replies, I was watching the DVD of Hard 8, 1997, with Paul Thomas Anderson's commentary, and he said that's where he found Philip Baker Hall. Sorry, hold on 1 second. He speaks to someone else in the room. I just ordered a lot of vegetables. I'm playing a chef in this movie. You're learning how to make vegetables? James Franco laughs. How to cut them and look as if I know what I'm doing. Now, you spent most of your childhood in Palo Alto, California, didn't you? Yeah, it was a great town to grow up in. I always wanted to act, but I was far enough away from San Francisco, and definitely from LA, that it didn't seem like reality. I was kind of scared of failing at acting. I didn't really do it until my last year in high school. I started with an adaptation of Dostoevsky's The Idiot, then did Wojciech by Buchner. The teacher was into a little crazier fare than the usual high school stuff. And then you went on to major in English at UCLA. Why did you choose English? My parents weren't high on me going into art school, and if I was going to go to a regular university, English seemed like the right place to be. Do you have any favorite books that you can recommend? When I was in Australia, I had quite a bit of time. War movies take a lot of setup. So I wadded through Proust's Remembrance of Things Past. If you have time, I recommend it. So I assume you're familiar with Rubad. I think you'd make a great Rubad. When I did James Dean, I went to the Duval Film Festival in France, and they were saying, "Oh, James Dean is Rubad." When did you first discover James Dean? I was aware of him in high school. He seemed so alive. He was so relevant to us as teenagers. Then when I started taking acting seriously, I looked at him more from a student's perspective. Did he inspire you to become an actor? Definitely. I mean, just how seriously he took it. I remember at one point between takes on Sunny, we were talking about a hand gesture Elvis Presley made, a strange, effeminate gesture, and you pointed out that he was a Dean fan, and that Dean used to have the same gesture in Giant when he's kicking Rock Hudson's ass. You demonstrated it for me and said something like, "Rock, you shouldn't have done that." And I about had a panic attack because I had no doubt that Dean had entered that room. Franco laughs. James tells Nick, "You're a shapeshifter. I mean, you definitely have your own style, but every now and then, these other iconic images come into your face. There's one scene in Sunny where you seem like Humphrey Bogart, and then there are others where I could have sworn you were Rudolph Valentino, Frank Sinatra, or Warren Beatty." James laughs. Well, enough about that. Let's talk about our movie. I was impressed by your intensity of your research process of Sunny. I might even say that you put yourself in danger when you were meeting those gigolos. Did you ever feel fear? A little bit. When I research a role, it does get a little crazy and maybe even a little stupid. I never want to say I held back here, or I could have done that, but I didn't. Nothing bad has happened to me researching Sunny. But there was one time when a couple of guys were going out on a date, and they took me so I could see how it all went down. In the back of my mind, I thought, if we get busted, this will be hard to explain. Do you remember the two gigolos we interviewed at Lafat's Black Shop in New Orleans? It seemed as though you incorporated the personalities of all the various gigolos you met, depending on Sunny's trick at the time. Well, yeah, I met people in New Orleans, LA, and San Francisco. And there are so many different types of reasons for going into that line of work. A lot of people in San Francisco think of themselves as healers, not just as people delivering these base services, but giving their clients spiritual help. It's almost like being an actor, playing a different part for each trick. Now, in addition to acting, I see that you paint. I can see that as a great way to keep your muse fine-tuned between movies. Yeah, it's great because a movie is a really collaborative effort, and which painting is just yourself. Describe a scenario where you wake up in the morning and you decide you're not going to act, paint, or anything. You're just going to relax. How would you do it? Never. It's an impossibility. I don't even like to sleep. I feel as if there's just too much to do. And that's the end of the interview. So yeah, James interviewed all these hustlers and like real male street prostitutes, and I just love Sunny. I really recommend that movie. I bought that movie on DVD years ago. It's a really intense movie, but I recommend it so much. I've tried reviewing it, and it's just really hard to write that review, but it's really intense, and it's sometimes really uncomfortable, but it's so heartbreaking and sad, and I truly think it's one of James Franco's greatest performances. It's one of my favorite characters he's ever played, and Nicolas Cage is an amazing director. I wish he would direct something else, but I can't see him topping this, you know? I wouldn't want him to make I'd rather have him just make one amazing movie instead, and then never making anything else, and then making a subpar movie, because I'm always going to hold it up to Sunny standards. Okay, so now this is the opening of the Brad Renfro article. When asked what he was rebelling against, Marlon Brando's outlaw biker in The Wild One famously responded, "What do you got?" Brad Renfro has taken this attitude so much to heart that, whether he's attempting to steal a yacht or playing a brooding dropout, all too truthfully, in The Controversial Bully, it's unclear if life imitates art or if it's the other way around. Comfortably gonzo in his southern good old bad boy persona, Renfro just can't seem to keep his rebel yell quiet. He's spellbinding because he's one of the few actors who's not afraid to live on the edge, both on screen and off. So catch this catcher while you can. To that end, we've enlisted kindred risk-taker Johnny Knoxville to get to the heart and soul of Renfro's walk on the wild side. Now, this is the interview. It starts off with Brad saying, "Knox Vegas." Johnny says, "Mr. Renfro, how are you, you little bastard?" "I'm doing beautifully. I've been surfing." "Surfing? Hillbillies don't surf." "I know, we ride motocross, and check this out, dude. I might be directing a movie. It's based on a book called Joe the Engineer." "Will this be your directorial debut?" "No, I did a short, Meter Man. It's about a lonely, drunken meter reader. Now that I've been in and out of jail and kind of grown up a little bit." Knoxville says, "Oops." Brad responds, "That was your fault, by the way. Knoxville laughs. I wish you had tackled me that night. Just sat on me and said, where are you going? I believe the incident to which you're referring to is you attempting to steal a yacht? Yeah, I wasn't going anywhere though. Well, usually you gotta untie the boat first. You're a great actor and an amazing guitarist, but you leave a little to be desired in the sailing department. Word. That's cool. Johnny asks, where was that? Fort Lauderdale? Yeah. How did that movie turn out you were in when we were down there? Big Trouble? I don't think it turned out. Brad laughs. Oh, did you see Bully? Oh, no, how'd that turn out? Brilliant. That's the reason you're talking to me right now, for interview. You're not promoting Bully. That's 2 years old. The theme of this issue is, Brad, I know, The Catcher in the Rye. Exactly. Have you read the book? Of course. And your views on Holden Caulfield? I think Holden represents the new generation, the youth we're seeing today. When the book came out, it was controversial because of the mental institution. I read it in ninth grade, and at the same time, Holden and I shared a lot of the same views as far as Johnny interrupts. The phony adults? The phony adults, the guy who hits on him. Holden was right, everyone else was crazy. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Brad Renfro. Let's talk about Knoxville, Tennessee. When was the last time you were back there? About a month ago, and dude, you've got those rednecks back in K-Town all about it. All about what? Trying to be Johnny. I get there and they're riding their bicycles into dumpsters and shit. Don't tell me that, man. Brad laughs. Oh, and all the chicks that have never met you have now slept with you. It's crazy. But Knoxville, I say get the hell out of there. I have too many friends get there who aren't quite as ambitious as they should be. But hey, they definitely know how to breed them there. I mean, look at me and you. I believe they usually refer to that as inbreeding, the last of a dying breed. Man, I gotta get out of the joint, and I've kind of, Johnny interrupts. The joint, he laughs. Hey, is it true what they say about sex on the inside? It's just a hustle until you take it out of the gate? I had a buddy who was in prison, and that's what he told me. Prison's different, dude. I was in county jail. Oh, that's even worse. Yeah, but I ain't preaching to nobody. I was just really close to God, and I didn't try to get up in anybody's business. I wasn't there for that long. I was cool with my hand. Johnny replies, a couple more weeks and, I would have been draping some ass. Johnny laughs. Ho ho ho, Knoxville is chock full of crazy characters. What characters from your childhood stand out? I knew this guy named Crow Dog. He was my friend's dad. He went to pick up his wife from an AA meeting, and she had talked so bad about him in the meeting that when we got there, they started hitting him with the chairs. Somebody threw a donut and hit him in the head, and he pulled out his pistol and shot 2 of them, and then he shot his old lady. Oh, Jesus, is he doing hard time? Well, this was back in the 70s. I'm not sure. My mother told me about it. So how long have you been working in the business? Brad tells him about 10 years. I've made 16 movies. These days, I ain't doing anything but work. You'd be really proud of me, Johnny. I'm doing really good. That's what I tell everyone who asks me about you. I tell him, look, he's going to grow out of all that bullshit and he's going to do some really great work. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a movie now with Daryl Hannah called The Job. It's off the hook. And you should really see Bully, Johnny. I think you'd love it. It's a blockbuster. I will. What do you say next time we're back at home we get a couple of Smoky Mountain Market hot dogs and head up to Dollywood? Yeah, I need some funnel cakes. Johnny tells him, all right, Puddin', take care, Brad. Brad tells him, all right, I love you, brother. Bye. It feels really good to finally read this interview on paper, not just online, but it also makes me really sad. I mean, it's so obvious that Brad is trying to stay positive, and but it's obvious that he's getting into a lot of trouble and his career is going downhill in his life. And what they're referring to in the yacht incident when he's trying to steal the yacht during the making of Bully, I guess one night he got so incredibly high on drugs and he tried stealing a yacht, but he didn't untie it from the dock and destroyed the dock and the boat, and it cost the studio $1 million. Larry Clark talks about it in detail on Bret Easton Allen's podcast where he interviewed Larry Clark, and Larry Clark said he was so mad and it cost so much money and it was such a big thing. Everybody was really angry, and Larry Clark said, what the fuck were you thinking, after he bailed him out of jail? And Brad said, I don't even remember doing it. I don't even remember. And it's just really sad. And I feel kind of, sometimes I think I come off morbid, keep talking about this. I know my friends are just like, why are you so obsessed with these these people are good actors, but they fucking killed themselves for drugs. And everybody knows me, I was killing myself for drugs. And I wasn't doing heroin, but I was putting poison in my body for years, and I could have easily gone the way of Brad Renfro of just overdosing and dying. And I don't want to glorify his death or his drug use, because I think drug use is horrible. But I just want to glorify his performances, and he was just like such a beautiful soul and such an amazing actor. You know, he wasn't an angel, but he was a great actor and he was a good person, and he was just so flawed. And his movies, I don't know why. I mean, definitely I relate to him so much, not even just with drugs, but like with his grandmother, being raised by his grandmother, and how his parents were, and I just relate to him so much, and his movies just affected me so much. Uh, Bully, of course, and Deuces Wild, but his performance in The Client, his first movie, I just really related to that character also, and he was a lot like that character, but the roles he took at so young, and he only did movies for 15 years, around 12 years, and he made so many great movies. The Client, The Cure, Sleepers, App Pupil, Tart, Ghost World, um, and of course, like I said, Bully and Deuce Wild. He did so much in such a short time. He died so young, and it's so tragic. But addicts, we do it to ourselves. And I just want people to remember. I just want people to remember him and watch his movies, and because he just feels so forgotten. It feels horrible how forgotten he is. And just watch his movies, man. Watch Sleepers. Watch Out Pupil. Watch these fucking movies because they're so good. And I just love Brad Renfro so much, and I love so many people in this magazine. I love Johnny Knoxville so much. I love Nicolas Cage and James Franco. I love them, and I love Kieran Culkin, and I love Jake Gyllenhaal. And I love seeing this magazine how young they were, and it was just like the beginning of the career. It's December 2003. I was in fifth grade. That was 17 years ago. That's just so crazy, man. I would do anything to go back in time to be in December 2003. Brad would be alive, and all these people so young in the beginning. It's just such a great time. This magazine just feels like a portal to that time period. And this magazine, I don't know. I got this magazine. I was gonna make an Instagram video, and I just said, why don't I just make a regular video, a whole video out of this? And this was just really spontaneous, and I just made it. And so yeah, I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys watch Sunny. Watch Sunny, Nicolas Cage's Sunny, starring James Franco. Just buy the movie. Just buy it online. It'll be like 10 or 12 bucks. I swear to God, it'll be worth it. It is so fucking good. And yeah, so you guys know how YouTube works. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Instagram at cinemajunkies_. Don't forget the underscore.